Hello, everybody. Hey, it's Ken Faulkner. I've got another, yes, yet another knife video for you. I got a lot of knives, and it's gotten to the point where sometimes I kind of forget about knives in my collection, and I try to rotate them quite a bit. I really do like a variety of knives. I like to carry a variety of knives. I often will find those knives that I haven't carried in a long time, and I'll specifically carry them and just enjoy them because it's been a while. And just the other day was an example of that. And I've been talking about how difficult it's been to not buy brand new knives. But if I stop and think about it for a minute, I mean, I really do have a lot of great knives. And since I really am trying kind of to test myself, kind of to prove to myself that I do have some self-control. This is something that I've been thinking about, and the other day, this knife here, and this is one that I did an unboxing a while ago on the channel. It's the Kalem Blade Designs Ari. Not super well known knife. I remember when it was coming out, there was a couple people doing reviews of it, really spoke well of it, and it just kind of looking at it, I just saw a good quality knife. Not exactly the cheapest knife in my collection for sure, but not the most expensive. It's got a lot of nice features. It's got this carbon fiber with the aluminum in it. A little bit of bling. That's not really the most important thing to me with knives, but all these little things add up. Titanium handles, titanium clip, very nice clip. This blade grind, the design of it, with the grinder lines here, and then they go horizontal on the flat. You see that really well. I just really like that. I think that's very clean. This is something I talk about quite often, is the way that the line of the back of the knife here is consistent all the way through, like an arc. Nice big knife. I think this one's somewhere around maybe 4-inch, close to 4-inch blade, and that's right in that size range that I really like. Nice thick scales, nothing that's gonna be super light in my hand. So anyway, I got this in my hand. I'm going, man, I really have some good knives. And I thought to myself, well, I'm gonna just sit down and go through my entire collection. And I'm sure you've seen the thumbnail. That was all my folder knives. Doesn't even have all of them. I mean, because I have all my folders, yes, but it doesn't have all my fixed blades and things like that. But I just had them all out on the table earlier today. Took that picture and I started going through them, and I started kind of moving and saying, okay, these are like my favorites over here, and these are ones that I like, but they're more the middle of the road type knives. And there's different reasons for why some stand out and some don't. And I got down to 15. Then I started sitting there, and I just open and close them, feel them in my hand, looking at them, looking for hot spots, looking for action, that sort of thing, looking at the way the blade's designed. And I finally got down to 5. There's 5 knives here, and that was my goal, to find my 5. I don't know if you say favorite knives, but just most satisfying knives, if that makes sense to you. As far as having them, carrying them, opening, closing, just the feel of them. Obviously, all my knives can cut. If they don't, it's time to sharpen those guys up. But these all just have a special feel to them, to me. And so you already saw the Kalem blade design, front flipper, Very nice detent, nice action, open and close. In the hand, it's very comfortable and it fits. I mean, it's actually sticking out a little bit at the end. It's not super tall in this direction, but it's got that thickness, and that seems to be a theme for me. Having a bit of a thickness to the scales and even the blade stock not being too thin. Now, I do like a slicing knife. I do like, and this one is fairly thin behind the edge. I mean, there's no arguing that this is not a slicey knife. But yeah, it's just solid. A lot of times it's listening to it open and close, which is makes a difference. Just the feel in your hand, really, even not even the sound, but the feel of when it clicks in place, closed and open. That's just part of it. It's just satisfying, and that is definitely true of this knife here. And these are not in any particular order. I got down to 5, but I'm not picking 1 through 5 or anything like that. I'm just kind of going through all of them. Here's another one, and this may be a little surprising because it's a smaller knife, and I do tend to like a larger knife. But this one, the Malibu from ProTech, it is just a good quality, well-made, solid design. There's a difference. It's kind of like anything. Something that's a little bit more pricey, and it's not just because it's got a reputation or a brand name, but because it was made with more quality materials, more design thought behind the product, and it shows once you get it in hand, once you use it over the years, test of time type thing. The RE, I bought this probably earlier this year. This one's been around since this is the one that I got at the 2021 Blade Show. You can see that there. If it focuses. 2021 Blade Show. So it's been around for a while. I really started getting serious into collecting folders in particular back 2020. And so this has been around for quite a decent chunk of that time. And it's always been a popular one with me. But then there's times when I forgot about it. I just kind of let it sit in one of my patchy cases, and it just sat there, and I didn't pull it out. But every time I pull this one out, I'm happy to have it in my collection. Going on to the next one in the top 5. Let's see. Here's another one that stood the test of time. It should look familiar to a lot of people. It's the Devo knives. It's the Stout, and it also has some of that bling. This one has got the copper with the carbon fiber, and it's very nice and well designed. Speaking of design, just Devo knives with Colin and Kevin. They both know a lot about knives. Obviously, Colin's done a lot of designs, and Kevin has looked at and talked about a lot of knives. So there's all that experience kind of went into this. Is the first one of the Devo knives that came out for that under that name brand, and I think they really knocked it out of the park. Wire clip actually works really well. I like functionality. I mean, I do like the fancy, flashy stuff, but functionality is very important to me. Subframe lock. That's something that I do enjoy because of the fact that there's that pressure on the lock bar issue that, especially as a lefty coming from Kevin, is a concern that you're not trying to fight pressure on the lock bar when you're trying to get past that detent. It's got a great detent on this one. Blade shape is just really exceptional, functional wise. You can get that finger in here, it works great. It's got that sheep's foot blade, which is very good for those kind of cutting tasks where you're just drawing that edge. You're opening boxes, you're cutting something out of a piece of paper. You got good control with it. This one is super comfortable. That's one of the things that stands out with this knife. When you hold it in your hand, it's so well rounded in these areas here that it just fits so well. That forward finger choil, it just melts in your hand. You've heard that probably before, but this one kind of really represents that as far as the action. Open and closing is very nice. Solid, thick again in the scales. They got the cutout for the overlay of the carbon fiber. All works really well. It just feels like quality. And it stood the test of time. Going through it today, this is one of the ones that went through my little mini review of each of these knives, open and closing, looking at it and all that, and it ended up in the top 5 of well over 100 knives. This is one which is fairly new, and you may have seen my video where we had a little drama at an airport coming out of Blade Show West this year, 2023. Elijah Isham design, sorry, and BRS made this knife. It's the it's called the Eon. It's the Evolve, because there's a series of knives that they had. They mainly do balisong type knives, I believe, but they had a group of knives that they made that were in the Evolve group. This is one of those, and like I said, it was designed by Elijah Isham. It's an integral, which is really nice. It kind of adds to a little bit of solidness of the design. Just the fact that it's one solid piece of titanium makes a little bit of a different feel and a little different kind of sound of the blade opening and closing. It does open much better when I'm not behind the camera here, but I do like this blade design. Also similar with that somewhat sheep's footy here. We got several with that kind of design here. We got more of a drop point, but then these 3 knives here have more of that utility kind of blade shape. Very cool design. Again, looks just add to it, add to the desirability of the knife. But it's really feel and function. It can be the best looking knife in the world, but if it doesn't feel good in the hand, if it doesn't cut well, if it doesn't have good action, it's got hot spots, it got dropped out of the list as I was going through knives. The last one here is one I haven't shown yet before. If you're familiar with Behind the Edge, Nick Edwards, I bought this one from him. He's doing a knife sale right now, as a matter of fact. I would recommend, if you like knives like this, a little more high end, he's got some really good knives that he is selling, and I believe there's still some that are available right now. Go to one of his last videos, and he actually hit me up because we've become pretty good friends, and he asked me about whether or not there was any knife that he had that I wanted to buy ahead of time, and I did talk to him about this one. I saw this one. This is Heretic knives. They tend to, oh, that sounds so good. They tend to do more autos. I can't really carry autos in California, but they do a lot of automatic knives. So they're kind of in the range of a Microtech or a ProTech. It's a USA made knife, which is always a big plus. We've got a USA here, but I think the rest of these are all Chinese made knives. This one and the ProTech are kind of in that group where it's a company that normally would do autos, but in this particular case, they have this Wraith. It's a Wraith, or actually, I believe what it's referred to as at least I have it down in my spreadsheet, the Wraith M, which is probably for manual, which probably means that they have a automatic version of this knife as well. This one is also a, it's interesting because it is a integral handle. It's one piece of carbon fiber, whereas this one here is titanium and milled out of titanium. This one is milled out of one piece of carbon fiber. However, it does have this bolster that is bolted on, so it's like a kind of semi-integral. The whole back is kind of there, but then this half is like a brass that's been patinaed, and it actually has a coating over the top of it to keep it from, you know, patinating any more. You can see a little bit on the edges, the little wear on that, but it kind of looks kind of cool with that, the little bit of brass coming through to me. It's got a little bolted in lock bar in there, because obviously you can't make a lock bar out of carbon fiber. So that piece is bolted in as well. I believe that's all titanium. This thing makes this crazy cool sound. I'm going to be quiet. And it's different than anything else, any of those other knives. That click at the bottom must have to do with the integral handle here. Anyways, so yeah, Heretic Knives. I like that company. They got automatic knives, but I can't carry them, so I was really glad to be able to get this one in hand. And it kind of reminds me of something like the manual stitch, or some of the other ones from Microtech, or the Malibu here, where the quality that they put into their automatic knives, they're putting into a manual knife. I do like a Tanto blade. I do like to have that extra little tip here, and that can be used for cutting open boxes or whatever you're going to be using. But it also has kind of a tactical feel to it, the way the tip is so reinforced. You can see how it kind of flares out here towards the tip, and it makes it very strong for puncturing. Great feel in the hand, good size knife. You know, it's like a larger size folder, which I love. So anyway, this is my top 5. If you ask me in 2 weeks, it may change. I like all different kinds of knives for different reasons. You know, I did a video recently where I said Spyderco is like my favorite brand, but you see there's no Spydercos here. I do really like Spydercos, and like I said, in like a couple months, I might have a completely different set of knives here. But as of today, this is what I'm looking at. This is my favorites. What I was planning on doing is, because Blade Show West is what I'm trying to save my money for, let's try carrying one a week for the next 5 weeks, and that'll pretty much bring me up to October 12th, I think, is when Blade Show West is going to come out. So I'm going to try to carry these all for 1 week. I've never really done that before. Like said, I'm going to carry this knife. I usually rotate every day. I know there's some people that have favorite knives that pretty much that's what they carry all the time. But I'm not like that at all. So I'm going to try that out. I'll have a backup knife that I can rotate, so I can have my little variety. So don't worry about that. But yeah, that's the plan. And I think that these knives are such good quality that I'm not gonna miss other knives while I'm carrying them, and that I'll be satisfied, have that satisfaction of the fact that I have a quality knife with me at all times. All right, guys, thanks a lot for joining me on this video, and I'll be seeing you on the next one. Bye.